The following podcast may contain strong language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to Hallmark of Greatness Last Orders, the podcast where we look back into the films our Hallmark favourite actors and directors would rather forget that they were ever involved with. I'm Joe, and with me as always, having seen the dizzy, glamorous lights of main roster, we've busted him back down faster than David Caradine at a Lord Mayor's Jamboree. It's James.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, but I feel a little bit out of it. I've already seen a dog shit film. Why am I being brought back this week?
Well, I don't get my time off for good behaviour. And a man who has spent a long time trying to put bits of his body in other people, but not like a Frankenstein, just like a sexy, sexy boy. It's Planty.
It's just a squatted shit to the left.
Oh, if you would like to keep up to date with all the upcoming film choices and that, follow us on Twitter at Hallmark of Great, all one word, while it still exists. Or you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Hallmark of Greatness. Or if you are some kind of bridge-based troll and want to recommend a film to us, you can email us at hallmarkgreatness@gmail.com. We're here this week to take you through a film that is certainly a film. It's... 1982's Q, The Winged Serpent.
Yeah, I think The Winged Serpent is like a sub-name because it has got posters where it's just Q.
It is just Q, which annoyingly isn't the guy from Star Trek The Next Generation.
And disappointingly, wasn't people stood in the line waiting for something?
Or one of the James Bond people's probably called Q.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, you see. All the jokes.
It ties with a few films for the shortest film name ever. Because
Is there nothing with a shorter name?
There's like Philip Glass, the movie, but it's just nothing.
Yeah. Ooh.
James, let me fire up the machine of thingy.
Jesus, took my arm
When
off
are you going to fire up the machine? That just sounded like you going to the loo.
No, when I got to the toilet, it sounds like shoes falling out of a loft.
Okay, so today we've got them. It's decided that it's called the multifaceted blurb capacitor of vengeance, and I've punched it in. And usually, because I've put in former plots from this, as well as suggestions from you, our winged audience members, it comes up with things that are vaguely familiar. And today, I think it's just I don't know what's happened to it. Stephanie Serpent is a simple village hairdresser extraordinaire who must dog sit an Alsatian named Kevin, or else the local vicar will be revealed.
Is he in hiding? Is this like Henry VIII times?
It's got an exclamation mark next to it, so that's how it's been read out. As events ensue, Stephanie meets Jonathan Egg, a hardware shop owner who has his own private language and customs. A crisis ensues when a spiraling debt claims them both and the couple must work together. Will they plough? Signs point to yes. And it chose the surname Egg all by itself, not realising how appropriate that would be.
Eggs feature prominently.
They do.
In Q, The Winged Serpent. The actual synopsis: NYPD detectives Shepard and Powell are working on a bizarre case of a ritualistic Aztec murder. Meanwhile, something big is attacking people of New York, and only greedy small-time crook Jimmy Quinn knows where its lair is.
I mean, that does sound like something the plot generator came up with.
The fact it says something big is attacking people of New York. I would have led with that. Like the ritualistic Aztec part of it is a very small part. It's mostly people being dragged off buildings. This film,
and every now and again, a man dressed in feathers
does some dancing about with one of them trick knives where you press it in and the blood squirts out. Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, but this film is tremendous. It's got David Caradine before the fatal wanking accident that would. I've got to get him out of the way now.
Yeah. I think that's what he said.
He didn't. He said, help! This was a bad choice.
I'm coming!
I should have learned from that bloke from In Excess. Yes, it stars David Caradine as Shepard, or not appearing in this film. But the real hero... Oh, it's also got Shaft in it.
Yeah, it's got Shaft in it.
It's fucking Shaft in this.
Shaft in South America. It's not really the same, is it?
Shaft yells at a fucking confused man, the movie.
Just slaps him about on the cheek a bit. Yeah.
He does. I was like, police brutality. But let's get into this because it is a fucking weird film. It feels like it was filmed over like a weekend.
Yeah, and it feels like it's some sketches that are intertwined with a monster. It's almost like it's a kind of series 5 Monty Python, where there's only 3 of them, and for some reason every sketch is kind of jumped into by an badly animated monster.
Oh, I don't. I'm a big fan of like the Ray Harryhausen stop motion thing.
I mean, so was I in the 60s when he was first doing it.
I mean it is what I expected, and it delivered as much leathery goodness as we could want.
I think it's not really stop motion, is it? It's just them going rah at the camera with a dinosaur. Like it has big
with a toy dinosaur as well.
Carnosaur vibes.
Yeah, it has got Carnosaur vibes,
and also a little bit of Empire of the Dark with all the plasticine men that are obviously it's so bad. Anyway, we'll get to it.
We open up with a list of everyone who was in this fucking film.
Lee Lewis, 2 first names. Never trust him.
Never trust the man with 2 first names.
Creepy theremin music over the top of it, which I quite liked.
Yeah,
a bit different.
Yep, and we're also Candy Clark, who I thought I recognised from something because she's got one of those faces, but turns out nope.
No, exactly the same. I was certain in these kitchen sink melodrama scenes that's very familiar to me. Apparently
nope. But we open on what is the Empire State Building?
The Chrysler Building.
No, it's the Empire State Building at the start, and then it switches to the Chrysler Building for the rest. But it's a very bad establishing shot. Because they didn't know if they would get the Chrysler Building, so they just went for an iconic.
Why not?
Yeah, why not go for the big one? Yes, shoot for the moon.
Yes, they did get the Chrysler Building. It's 1982. There's the 2 towers are there.
I have written.
It goes through at
they
one
got
point
another
as well.
19 years, so it's fine.
And there is a cheeky window cleaner cleaning the windows.
Cheeky peeper.
He's trying to earn an honest bob.
He is. Hey. But, like, it's weird because he's just cleaning this one window furiously. I'm assuming because he keeps making a mess on it.
The woman said, and he's back. She's on the phone, and he's back again, cleaning the same window. And all the while he's going, all right, no, all right, let's have a look.
He's just having fun conversations outside to himself. Oh, you'll love me, won't you? You'll love me. I'm like, what is happening here? She's doing business on the phone of, yes, I'll have to order that from the factory. Business. While just this pervasive squeaking of a chamois on the window, and she goes, I fucking hate the sound of that chamois, that squeaking, and then she turns around and his head's fallen off.
Do you want to know something fun? That man's name is William Pilch, and he's the actual window cleaner for the Empire State Building.
Get out!
What?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
There's only one for the entire building.
Yeah, that's
and
him.
He's a pervert. That's amazing.
Well, he's dead.
Dirty
Will.
Will. Dirty Willie.
Clean it with that. All right. So they like. Oh, we need to go method on this one.
What you rapidly learn about this film is that it's as improvised as fuck.
I would
guerrilla
say
filmmaking.
A lot of the street scenes, I don't think they had permission for, did they? Because it feels like there's a lot of people walking around with cameras under their tops, like sort of thing.
They tried to shoot as much of this as possible, trying to get actual pedestrian reactions, but for quite a lot of it, including the gunfight scene at the end, nobody cared. Nobody
New York, mate. People shooting guns on the rooftops. Least of your worries, isn't it? You got to get some bagels and schmear.
So if you were in this film and you'd like to know more, just write in to Joey Bananas at Mastodon.org.
All mark of greatness at Mastodon. Don't write to Mastodon because I don't know how it works.
Mr. Mastodon.
Just email us. Dear Thatcher.
Dear Mastodon.
Give me some more money, you bastard. His head falls off. She screams, and we are now in the film Q. Dun, dun, dun. And we're introduced to two of the worst cops, I would say, I've ever met. Shepard and Powell, played by David Caradine and Shaft, respectively.
Yep.
Richard Roundtree, inventor of the fruit pastel. And they're just like, "Oh, have you found the head?"
Where's the head then? Yeah.
And Shepard's like, "Oh, have you ever dropped a melon from 40 floors?" And I was like, "You're not good at this, are you, lads? You'd be able to see it easy because it'd be on the floor, wouldn't it?"
But I think it did. Just broke up on entry into the atmosphere.
Burn up on. Yeah. Well, Powell seems to think it'll be up in the ramparts. With the fuck
did he say that?
In a
The
castle.
sound quality for this, I watched it on Prime and it was shite.
I watched it on Prime, but it was all right. But I had
I
headphones.
turned it up to
in,
like 50 and it still sounded like just mumbling. But yeah, the
Mumbling.
ramparts, really.
He said ramparts, and I was like, "It's the fucking Chrysler building." Just check the drawbridge. Like the
What
Motte and Bailey.
architectural terms do you know?
But yeah, that's that. That's how we meet Shepard and Powell, the cops in this film, being shit at their jobs, and they remain shit at their jobs all the way through this film.
They don't really have a lot of chemistry between them. I don't know why Powell is a sergeant, to be honest. You can't. I thought they were just.
He was
both
2 days
detectives.
away from retirement.
Yeah. Then we cut to many New York men at a carvery, and they're doing good. I'm walking here.
Oh,
What you
fucking-
want me to do about it?
This should have people in jail for the way that these Italian men are portrayed.
Oh,
Somebody should be in jail.
I hated this because they were all talking with mouths full of food, which I fucking hate
Yeah.
anyway. But also, there was an establishing shot of a man cutting a duck cup
With a mirror. It looked like a bit of glass.
with a CD. But one of them, did you recognise one of them?
I
No.
did recognise one of these guys, the kind of the surly looking one.
I think
I had no idea who he was.
it's the guy from Ace Ventura that he makes him
Oh,
get any good leashes, or is it collars? Yeah.
wow. Well,
I didn't look it up,
spotted.
but I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
then,
I
yeah.
don't really want to rewatch it because it'll just make me sad, won't it?
Oh,
But yeah. It's good that you spotted somebody.
But
in
I
it,
think
'cause,
he just is. I think at this point he was just generic Italian henchman, wasn't he? Like,
Yeah.
and they're all sitting about. I think it's a delicious Chinese buffet.
It's a succulent Chinese meal. Is
yeah,
what it is.
Touch my penis.
Chinatown features quite prominently in this, so that makes sense.
They're planning a heist of some kind. We're introduced to Jimmy, who says he will only drive, he doesn't go in, and he doesn't carry a piece.
Yeah.
And then he eats all the chicken and cashew nuts.
Yeah, and he's also non-union Dan Castellaneta.
Oh yeah,
Very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Very much.
And they're like, okay, well, we're going to do this heist. And then it cuts back to this man cutting the duck, and he has made no progress.
It's not.
He's trying to cut it with a mirror. Like, you're going to be there a while, aren't you? But I was like, they've just had a 5-minute conversation. Go and get a knife from the kitchen.
There's a very nasty cut then to a woman walking into what looks like a human pepperami on a hotel bed, which is deliberately designed to make you hurl a bit. He's been peeled like an orange, apparently, and then it just cuts to scenes of that happening.
Yeah, just him cutting flesh off his face. And he says he's been peeled, and he goes, no, flayed.
Filleted. Yeah, flayed. Yeah, sorry, I wrote filleted. I was obviously thinking about that duck.
Yeah, he's been flayed, but that's a word that hasn't been used for 4 centuries. Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
People use that word. It's fine. Like,
This is a witch hunt. Nobody's ever said that.
it's not like it's not like a fucking Susie Dent word of the day thing, is it? Like,
Well, I'm done flaying. Never used again.
but they're like, oh, it must be some sort of they talked to some guy and he went, oh, he bought a Q magazine, and then that was it. Like,
Yeah. So it's a deliberate feeding in of that, isn't it?
I think it, like, and then to show what good cops they are, they just throw a pillow on him and leave.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that in this.
Interfering with a crime scene, just fucking bang. I don't want to look at his face anymore. It makes me sick. You
Is
can't
this where
do
we
that.
get a mad cut to a mad balloon scene? There's just mad balloons in the sky after that.
I think they hired a helicopter for an
unhinged.
afternoon and just got as much aerial photography as they could do.
Yeah, it's really weird because I got this. Was this red balloons floating through the city? All I could think was, we all float downtown.
There's just Nina going, "Oh, my red balloons! I had 100, but now I have 99. That's a good idea for a song." I don't know why she's Dutch. Yeah, there is just these, like, later on, there's just one of a man hang gliding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But then you
forgot
get a
about
cheeky bit of a shadow. But I don't know if it is the shadow of the monster or of just a helicopter and bad
It was actually the
photography.
shadow of somebody's fingers doing a come to get you.
Look, bunny rabbits.
Another Ace Ventura idea. Yeah.
This guy, by the way, at this point is non-union Adrian Brody, and he's having a right perv. isn't he, at this
Oh, you
woman?
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I got non-union David Baddiel.
Yeah.
They're both kind of anti-Semitic.
Disco David Baddiel I've got, because yeah, this lady comes out onto the rooftop, and because it's a low budget sort of horror film, there's got to be titties, isn't there?
Yeah.
Not as much as I would have thought. This is the only scene, isn't it?
This is the only scene of, well, look, we've got to get titties in it. One scene, get it out of the way, right? She comes out, she's listening to like Funkomatic 7 on this boombox.
Like radio light nonsense, I've put it down.
Yeah. Can we get it through clearance? Yeah, okay, sweet. She sits down in New York, like, to catch rays at the top of this building.
There's a lot of people at the top of buildings in this.
They're all just hanging about tops of buildings because it's
Yep.
cheap to shoot on the top of buildings.
It's easier for the monster to get them as well, you see.
You see, yeah, if they were all downtown, it'd be no good. She lies down, takes the top off, starts rubbing oil on herself. David Baddiel's having a whale of a time through his Pervermatron
He is
kaleidoscope.
slapping himself
Yeah.
for all the good luck that he's got. Yeah.
And then, a camera approacheth. And yeah, she gets, and David Baddiel can't believe it. That's ruined his erection. Yeah,
and
she
these
gets
people down below getting splattered with blood. It's just blood falling out of
Again,
the sky.
right? I was confused because if all the people were in the same area, that would make sense. But it was like the monster was spinning it around like a centrifuge.
I thought they were in that Blade club where the sprinklers come on.
Oh yes,
Yeah, that's where I was certain
But
they were.
it was all just people looking up and going, "Oh, I've got ketchup on my face." It was like the old Heinz advert where you used to put it on the edge of the building and then run downstairs to get it in hot dog in time.
Wow.
The reference. But Shepard and Powell couldn't give a fuck.
Well, why should they?
there's-
They're only
there's-
3 days from retirement.
There's witnesses of this thing happening, but it's just pervy David Baddiel, so nobody takes any interest. And then we get to 9 minutes into the film with the unnecessarily long jazz scene.
I think this is Oscar worthy. For why was this filmed, right? Because so Jimmy says, "Oh, I might not drive the car for the heist. I have got another job lined up," which
Yeah.
turns out to be he goes into this club, this bar, and says, "I hear you need someone to play piano," and he goes, "All right, have a play of it then," and he sits down and has some sort of jazz seizure, like. Because I'm fairly sure Ian from Cult Connection will, even the jazz stuff he's made me listen to has structure to it, like is music, I would say. Whereas this, it's just, even the dog doesn't like it.
It felt like he was having a John Spencer blues explosion.
Very good.
Somebody's put on IMDb that the dog's reaction was natural. I'm like, of course it fucking was. They didn't tell it to act. It's not an actor.
You should have seen my reaction.
But yeah, he's sitting there and he's going blink, blah, blah, bleep, blah, scabba, dabba, and like there's no rhythm or cadence or anything to it. It just feels like he went in there. Can you play the piano, Jimmy? Yeah. Oh, I'll just wing it on the day. And like it's all in the same key and stuff. It's all like musically sound, but it is not good music.
No, it's not the right. I would have expected that a jazz musician would kind of read the vibe of the room and do something, because there's a little bit where a man sort of walks close and he's like, and it's almost like, yeah, he's trying to riff on what people are doing, in that irritating way. But no, he gives up on that eventually, and we all got to this point and then started just writing to one another. So I've noted this down. There's just too much happening for it to be comprehensible. What the absolute fuck is this?
But I was expecting a thing about a monster eating sexy women on rooftops, and we seem to have fallen into jazz club. Nice.
Nice.
But the guy who running the bar, there's a woman in the bar who sort of likes it, and then the guy who owns the bar comes over.
Isn't it?
Is
so
it?
Presumably,
She'd obviously
well, not the gig there.
I didn't pick up on that because I was too busy going, why is this happening? What have I done to deserve this?
The man clearly doesn't like it and just sticks on what sounds like Randy Newman on the jukebox in protest.
Right foot.
Yeah. But
at this point, Shepard has come in and he's just daytime drinking because he's a grizzled cop. Even though the guy says we're not open till 6. And they go, Jimmy, can you just leave? Because this is bad noise you're making. And Shepard goes, I thought it was quite good, that. And Jimmy goes, well, you're a dickhead, aren't you? What the fuck do you know? Or something, wasn't it? Oh, thank you. And then that's that whole scene.
Yeah, and then he just goes for a job as a driver for the mob.
He just goes,
forget about that.
Giving up on my musical dream. But Shepard explains that they're trying to solve the case of these bodies. I was like, are you allowed to tell people about ongoing cases?
It's 1982 New York, mate. Don't give a fuck, do they?
No.
I love some of the scenes in this, though, because it is partly just a love letter to the filthy, filthy streets of early 80s New York.
We said it in the Meatloaf film, didn't we? Like, there is something spectacularly grimy about it, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And because all the homeless people haven't been murdered yet, of course.
By Rudy Giuliani.
Correct, yeah, absolutely. I love this, by the way, because I'm sat watching this going, where do I recognise this from? Where have I seen this done better? Oh, yeah, Baby Driver. But actually, there's no driving done. There's not a lick of driving in this film.
They couldn't.
There's a running scene. Didn't that do it for you?
Is he even doing that? Because I've written he goes for a mooch and then gets hit by a taxi in what I can only describe as a Hollyoaks accident.
Yeah, well, we better set this up a little bit. So he's doing the driving, and they go and rob the best named shop in any of this.
What? I must have missed that.
No. See this?
No, but this is your job to find these things.
Well, it really zoomed up on the glass. So they all go out, and then they're like, yeah, Jimmy coming on. And Jimmy goes in as well, and it zooms in, and it's Neil Diamond's Diamonds.
Lovely stuff.
What?
Yes.
Amazing
I couldn't believe
work.
it. They all go in, and there's like a come back, that sort of thing. They rob a place. He forgets his keys, and he just runs into Chinatown at this point. Rather than going back for his keys or, I don't know, doing something else, he gets hit by a taxi, as you described. His briefcase goes sliding out into heavy traffic, and the Chinese don't care. It shows the reactions of everyone just like, well, that's shit, mate, isn't it?
I was to think of like Newton's theory of motion, though, isn't it? Like, he doesn't bounce very far off that taxi, but that briefcase goes fucking wild.
I've actually got a top tip for listeners here. You can avoid ever getting run over by a taxi in New York by slamming your hands on the front of it and going, hey, I'm walking here.
I'm doing
no
a
one
walk.
has ever done that.
I was hoping they'd do that, but they didn't. The diamonds in the briefcase, they say, is worth 70 grand, which is worth $216,000 today.
That's a lot of diamonds.
It's a lot in diamonds, or it's worth its weight in 360 signed Neil action figurines.
Ooh,
signed, which is $600 each.
Ooh, what? Have they got real functioning genitals?
No, but you can, zoom up at the screen at somebody.
Oh no, giant Neil Diamond's attacking. Free Caroline. They've also given Jimmy a gun as well, which comes into play later on. Yeah. Even though he said he wouldn't carry a gun, he pretty much, as soon as they gave him a gun, he's like, sweet, I'll have that. So yeah, he runs around for a good 10 minutes, just getting into hijinks. He
goes into a phone booth.
Goes into a phone booth, phones his lawyer. I think it's his lawyer. he just says, "It's me, Jimmy. Don't go on your lunch." And then he goes to see like this lawyer who's clearly gone out for lunch. Like,
yeah, it's so that the police don't arrest him because the police just go by. And
police
like,
drive by very slowly, but
you're white, so I won't beat the shit out of you. And then he takes a taxi to the. Oh, I thought it was the Empire State, but from now on, it's the Chrysler Building.
It's the Chrysler Building. That's where his lawyer is. So the lawyer not being there, going out for his lunch, going to Pratt to get a sandwich.
He tries to force the door
because he's a Tory, and then like the alarm goes off or something.
Because he's forced to. He doesn't even open it, so I don't know.
No, he just jiggles the handle. I don't know, but at this point, he decides, "I'm going to go up to the roof."
And the guard comes out and with a fucking gun.
Yeah, boy.
He's the RoofCop of this town.
RoofCop has a rough ride in this. Right?
Yeah.
It probably turns out that he's the real RoofCop of the Chrysler Building.
Like this job here, I mean, how many people are trying to get up into the roof space of the
fucking
Chrysler
load
building?
over the next couple of days. Loads of people.
For the rest of the time, he sat at his fucking desk with a phone. Like, who's phoning the roof of the Chrysler Building?
Hello, RoofCops.
Oh no, you wanted the basement.
Oh man, someone's been stealing your lead flashing. I'll be there. Yeah, it's strange, but yeah, they have like a kiss me, chase me around the roof for a while. For the roof cop just goes, I've had enough of this, and fucks off.
What would an NPC do in this chase scenario?
It's the equivalent of putting a box over your head and hiding in the corner, isn't it? Oh, must have been the
Whose
wind.
footprints are these?
And then Jimmy's like, I'll go up more ladders because I need to get as high up this building as I can for reasons that are not established.
Yeah, he's like, oh, well, this is where the Empire State, Chrysler Building keeps all its planks because there's a lot of them up there. Finished building it, I guess. They go up, he goes up to the next ladder and then up another ladder, which is where they keep all the pipes and the ropes.
And other ladders. There's a lot of extra ladders.
There is.
It's like the props for a wrestling match. It's but when he's up there and he sees this big fuck off egg, and he keeps going up and like at the top there's this big fuck off egg in a nest, and he goes, "That's a big egg."
And then he touches the egg, he taps the egg, he stares at the egg.
He knocks on the egg,
away.
Which I thought was strange. Knocks on the egg. He gets his gun out because he's like, "This egg's too big. Like, it's makes me uncomfortable. The size of this egg."
Now, I had a moment here when I was watching it, when I was kind of like, is this filmed up a tower? Because you can see the city out of it. And then I realised that I think they just stuck some pictures, some blown up pictures of the city to the wall of the set. And I was like, this is
not what the roof of the Chrysler Building looks like.
No, I was disappointed.
No, it looks like
it's like a haunted Victorian tower.
It looks like where Batman beats the fuck out of the Joker in the first Batman film.
I have written, is this the tower the same set as the end of Batman 1989?
There you go. See? Great minds. Yeah, he comes down and he's like, "Oh, the spooky noises everywhere." And then someone throws a fucking skeleton at him off screen.
And a dove at him.
Yeah. Oh, the doves! They.
And the dove's not eating the skeleton. That's what I thought the doves. I was kind of like, hang on a second, has this man been eaten by pigeons?
It was like that bit in Community. Who's throwing this cat? Yeah. And he's like, "Oh no, it's a skeleton!" But he sees it's got a gold anklet or bracelet on or something.
Yeah.
And he tries to nick it, but it's a bracelet that once it's on can't be removed.
It's bound to that skeleton.
Which I was like, is it cursed? What?
It doesn't really say. It just sort of pans to his face, and he's got a very yucky expression as though he's not enjoying it, and he presumably just gives up.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go home. I'm going to go and see my wife, who looks familiar, but not enough. Like, not in anything that you would remember her from.
Yeah, I thought she looked a bit like the waitress from Always Sunny, so I've just written her down as that.
It could be that, yeah. She's just got a kind of,
Yeah.
Candy Clark, though. Great name.
New office construction site.
My goddamn motherfucking sandwich.
Bizarre dialogue in this. Yeah, take us through it. Go on.
Ongoing war of sandwiches, like rooftop pranks. We've only got an hour for lunch. Oh, if one of you guys has touched my lunch pail again.
Yeah, because it's the 30s.
Yeah.
Do you know what he threatened him with? He says
he was going to shove thermoses up his ass.
One at a time. Yeah. What? How many thermoses do you have?
at least 4 at any given time. Tea, coffee, weak lemon drink, Bovril.
I jumped to the wrong conclusion here when he couldn't find his sandwiches and assumed that the monster had eaten them.
Yeah.
The monster's going to eating his skips. No, but they've
a thing at the bottom where they're like, "Oh yeah, I did fucking eat his sandwiches."
Yeah,
because I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Well, what happens is they've put his lunchbox at the end of a ladder. Right, so he goes up to get it, and he's, "Oh, you sons of bitches! I'm going to shove thermoses up all of you." And then as he comes down, he opens it, and like, there's no sandwiches in there. And then the monster bites his head off, or eats his head, and spits the hat out.
Yeah.
So I was like,
and then they're going, "Oh, hey, she can sure make a tuna salad," you know.
Yeah. And then they laugh, even though a man's just died.
And the line is something along the lines of, "One day I may go and tell her." Or something like, what?
I've been stealing your husband's sandwiches.
Yeah,
I've got it. It's like the it's like the NPC gang members from any of the Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Autos.
Right?
She's a real target, man, and they just say stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. So like this high vis guy has been killed as well. Had its head eaten. Only eats the heads, it would appear. Leaves the rest for the pigeons.
As fellow winged creatures, obviously. Feathery ones. I thought it was supposed to be feathery anyway. But
don't worry about it. No,
it looked like it was made out of ball sack.
It's pronounced leathery.
That's like my ball. And so, is this where we get Shepherd in the museum?
Yes, in an anthropology museum, like the Pitt Rivers Museum or something.
Where they're going, all of this stuff is Aztec.
It's looted from
It isn't Aztec, is it?
No, it's not.
It's not. It's Native American, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Although
Aztecs didn't have totem poles.
No, I did wonder, because they mention that Native Americans have a completely different culture right next to all your Native American stuff. I wondered if they were trying to sort of like...
We haven't got access to that.
We don't know what it looks like in order to make us.
Well, here's a big, flappy, feathery suit and a mask. That's good, isn't it?
It's supposed to just give that impression of...
like of Aztec sacrifice. And they go on about, as an offering to the god, you have to do it willingly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't work. And they go, that'll be why that guy, like, Johnny Pillowface. That'll be why, like, he didn't cry or scream or anything. He was happy with it. Oh, okay, yeah, right. Fuck knows.
He takes a moment to nick 3 books and stare colonially at a wooden statue, and then fucks off. And then starts reading this book of like Aztec art in his black lacquer bed.
Now I assume
it's a strong statement
that this is the actor's actual bedroom.
It's his actual wife, I think, of that period.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
She got strong squeezing hands.
Patti Smith, non-union Patti Smith.
I was going to say, if that was Patti Smith, I'm like, no. And she's like, stop reading those books and come on, let's have a strangle wank. And he's like, no, I must solve the crimes. Okay, then I'm going to go and brush my teeth. And then he comes back and goes, and jumps on her. And then they have a cuddle and a laugh. And it's just married life.
Yeah, it's like that all the time.
Oh,
I just pretend to be whatever I'm reading in my crime research at the moment. Ooh. Stab. No, it's
thankful I'm not reading about Jack Rippey. Yeah.
Then we cut to another domestic scene. It's jazz guy Jimmy.
The opposite of the domestic harmony that David Caradine and Patti Smith have at home.
Yeah.
He does a nice recap to her of everything that's going on, and it is madness.
In case you've been for a piss at some point and you've not been following what's going on, he explains everything. So I got these jewels, and then I got run over a bit, and then I just ran around and had a sandwich.
They wanted me to do a Neil Diamond job, and I was like, I don't understand.
This has got strong Ken Loach vibes going on here. I honestly expected him to end up physically abusing her.
Well, she says, don't you? She says, like, if you hit me again.
No sooner as I'd put, he's well punching.
Yep.
It started to turn. Fucking hell.
And it's weird because that's where it begins and where it ends. That whole thing, like just one mention of him being physically violent doesn't come up again.
Chucks a chair at her later.
He does throw a chair, at her. It's
it.
just around the room.
It's still domestic violence, though.
I mean, he also the end of his story. I went up with a thing, and there was a big egg, and then I came down and I slept under some stairs. He's furious about that. And
scene missing.
And she's, I want to see him sleep under some stairs. Going, no, the big egg. And well, then we get some good acting as well, where she goes, "I want to have a sit down on the couch, and I'll get you a drink." And he goes, "No, bad dreams, go away, or something.
Yeah, I love that. I wrote that down as well.
And she says, "You have a kip, right? And we'll have bacon and eggs in the morning." And he goes, "I never want to see another egg again."
But he doesn't say anything about the bacon. It's quite happy with bacon.
You can have a difficulty living your life without seeing eggs again, pal. But yeah, and I felt kind of sorry for Joan in this.
Yep.
She seems quite nice. She's working in the shit jazz club. Their flat's quite nice as well.
It is an amazing flat.
It looks like when he's running around it looks like he's running around the Overlook Hotel out of The Shining.
Does a bit. There's lots of corridors in this.
Yeah.
But it's a lovely apartment.
Massive bookcase and
crime pays.
Vinyl as well.
Oh, jazz crime pays.
Jazz crime.
Oh, it's a jazz crime, all right.
Oh, it's a jazz strip club. That's why he couldn't be hiding. It's hard to strip to scat.
But now I want to try.
Oh no, I've got my zip.
Anyway, we cut to a man laying down on some tarp, and a feathery dude cuts open his chest.
Yeah, and he's happy with it. It's the feathery bit, and he's like, they're just doing some the god of whatever. Yeah, they're doing some
feathery
incantation sort of thing.
Oh blimey!
Ooh, a cowl's anus. Is this when we get Muscle Man?
So this is the waterfront scene with the detectives now.
Oh, okay.
The body's washed up on the waterfront. The corpse has had the heart removed and the chest cavities all exploded, floaty.
Full of crabs like that coming out.
Yeah. And then they go to the DA's office or something, and Sergeant Powell blames the university and says they're all freaks. And Shepard blows a kiss at him, and I didn't really get anything else out of this.
I hate academia. He's fucking, he squares. I'm going to go and speak to Huggy. Oh, shit, wrong film. Have we not had Muscle Man push-up contest yet?
That's a bit late.
I think that's coming. Yeah, that's coming. I wondered what you were getting at, but yeah.
That's my favourite bit in the film.
Another improvised scene. You've got a few minutes, and at the end of it, you need to be in the pool. Just make up whatever nonsense you want.
Whatever you want to do. Get this muscly lass doing push-ups, right? And then.
But now this is the rooftop worker pushing a trolley on a roof, as workmen are wont to do. And then we get that he gets eaten. It's very, very quick. And then we get like a paper spinning into Zoom, so saying hoax or mass hysteria in its headline. And
it did feel a little bit like news on the march.
Yes. Transit problems given airing at BMR convention and like other bullshit like sub-headline that no one ever reads, but I took note of. And then we've got some leafy university quad. Shepard's talking with a very distinguished gentleman about God in our imagery.
This was Matt Murdock, I think, that he was talking to with the sunglasses on and the lawyer ways.
Could have been. But it was, this was like, again, this felt like this was the only page of script they had. And they worked around everything else around
very
it.
Much so.
Like, I've just read a book on philosophy.
He said that, we've always imagined... God has always been in our image, in the image of a man. But what if he was in the image of a big feathery bird?
What if he was a gas?
What if God was one of us?
Yeah, you see. What if he shuffled his feet?
Nice.
That's deep cuts, motherfuckers.
Deep cut,
One of my favourite bands.
They finish outside of the library of the Columbia University building. It's very, very nicely shot, I have to say. This was the highlight of the film in some ways of the proper film. They stood there in like a big fuck off square in New York, and it's very nice. This man wants the bird so that he can exhibit it. And that's the end of that.
He says,
he's going to turn out to be evil later. Nope.
Never see him again. He says, don't mess it up too much. And Caradine says, what was it? God, stuffed and mounted. And I was like, it's a bit weird. Is it Johnny Push-Ups now?
No, it's Jazz Guy writhing about in bed with bad dreams, which never get fully. I thought he was going to turn into a killer because you'd seen the egg.
I think this was supposed to be like because he touched the egg. It like imprinted on him, and he had to do the egg spitting.
Right, okay.
No, it's not. It's not at all. I'm giving it far too much credit. But that's what I thought they were going for.
There's knocks at the door, and he goes over to it, and he says, "I've got a gun," and they just laugh at him for being, and I quote, "a nerd."
And it's Detective Vecchio from Ace Ventura and the saxophone player from the Muppets. And they've come because they're like, "Where's the diamonds, Jimmy?" And he's
Where's
like,
the Neil Diamonds?
Where's the Neil Diamonds? He's furious. And he's like, "Oh, I was tapped by a car, and due to the low gravity in Chinatown, they flew out of my hands."
And the Chinese didn't care, and I ran and found a big egg.
And he's like, "But I can show you where something else is." But this bit annoyed me though, because he kept pressing that doorbell, and it's one of those noises like an alarm clock.
Yeah, it was going through me.
Nails on a chalkboard sort of thing for me.
He does a big run at this point, though, doesn't he? He goes out the window, goes down the fire escape towards Jazz singing in the background. I'm
gonna
running down the fire
escape, just like my father wanted me to. Ba 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 doo ba. Yeah, and I was like, any American people that listen to this in New York, if you live there, or anywhere that has are fire escapes a thing? Because it seems very unsafe.
I thought you were going to say, do they play jazz as you escape down?
You can pay extra for that. Put 10p in at the top, and it'll play any song you want. Jukebox fire escapes. But no, because like people are always
like an
escaping.
Alien cable thing. That is.
Real
fake doors.
People are always escaping down them or up them, and they all just lead to people's windows, who are just like "hello" as you walk past. And I'm like, how is no one getting murdered constantly?
Anyway,
so, yeah, if
they
you do
chase
know,
him in the street on foot, and it's very brief because he runs out of breath next to some kind of municipal building, and they just grab him and beat the shit out of him instead.
You fucking nerd. Powell appears and joins in because he hates nerds as well. And he says, "Oh no, I'll take you where something better is or something." Mm-hmm. I'm not sure how he convinced them to go to the bird lair. I think he just for plot devices, you have to come with us. And
I
so
thought he was saying that he hid it. He had got it after all, and he hid it up. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah,
that persuaded him to go up there. But
but he says, but unfortunately, there is RoofCop there, and you've got to take him out. And so Vecchio's like, "All right, I've got a good plan." So they just like literally walk into this building, and no one stops them. There's no foyer cop. Just RoofCop. Right? And that's a mistake, isn't it? No one's coming in unless you're getting a lot of Zeppelins docking. And no one's coming in high up, are they? So they just walk in, they're going up these things, and they get to where RoofCop's office, and he is just sitting there reading the newspaper with his phone. And Jimmy and the saxophone player come in and just go, "Oh, excuse me." And he goes, "Hang on." And then Vecchio just fucking pistol whips him. And goes to keep doing it. Like, Vecchio wants to kill RoofCop. And Jimmy's like, "No, he's had enough. He's out." And then he leads them a fucking merry dance around this building for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, they're like, "How many ladders?" And he's like, "Well, there's more."
Well, we've got to go through the plank level and then the pipes level. This is the worst Mario world ever. And he goes, "Oh, you just need to go up this ladder here." And so Vecchio's like, "Oh, okay then."
Because I thought this is a terrible plan, because he only saw a big egg when he went last time.
Yeah.
So his plan is...
No, he saw a skeleton and people throwing doves at him.
So he knows that people have been killed there, but you can't count on there being a big bird to attack people.
Yeah.
It's always your plan.
Jimmy! But luckily, the big bird is in.
It's in.
And as Vecchio goes up, it starts munching on him. Him and saxophone player.
There's a nice silhouette of hand puppet bird.
And then we get possibly my favorite line from the entire film, where Jimmy just screams, "Eat him! Crunch, crunch!" And it's lovely while they both die. And then he just goes home.
Yeah. It's a lot of Italian food for the bird to eat, though, in one sitting. It's very stodgy.
Well, there's facts about that, isn't there, later on in the film?
Is there?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Well, that's why you're James Facts.
I thought he just ate the heads, and then the pigeons ate the rest. That's what we'd established.
No.
Also,
we're now
why is no
at
one-
your favourite scene.
Why is no
You're
one
a
sitting
bald
on that
man.
egg? Why is no one sitting on that egg? It's not going to hatch.
I know it's a New York summer, isn't it? It's red hot.
Oh, David Baddiel. Yeah.
Apparently, yeah.
Um,
Bald man.
this is
on
the
roof.
best thing in the world.
Go on.
One muscly lady doing push-ups. Another man going, yeah, do push-ups. I'm having so much fun. This is great. And I was like, did he not want to be in the film? They were like, come on, Gary, it'll be a laugh. All right, I'll be in it, but I'm not going to enjoy it.
He deserves eating.
Yeah, and he just basically admonishes this woman for doing push-ups in a sarcastic way, and then goes, I'm going to get in some water now then. Gets in the water, gets immediately munched up by the ball bag demon. Yeah, gets eaten. It's good eating. And that's,
Ball bag demon, yeah. I think they were a new metal band from the early 2000s. Quinn has gotten arrested at the Chrysler building because he's discovered that there are other guards on other floors, not just the roof.
No, RoofCop is dead. No, he's not.
That's the other thing about the RoofCop. He thought that Quinn was going to go up and throw himself off the building, I think, because he calls him a wacko. I've only just realised this. So why has he got a gun? Going to shoot him before he can commit suicide.
It's the American way. Want to kill you?
but-
I'll shoot you before that is my right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He gets arrested by the filth and taken.
You've got the right to remain silent, Quinn. So shut the fuck up. Genuinely good dialogue.
Yeah. They take him downtown. RoofCop is giving a statement to the actual real cops. And Jimmy like sits there and keeps doing like not looking at him in case he goes, oh, that's the dude that like beat me up as well.
Yeah.
But Powell just starts screaming a load of weird shit at Jimmy at this point. And we get like a bit of slight racism as well, which is always fun. I think Jimmy says, I don't want a black policeman or something.
Yeah, he says he says they say that black cops are worse than white cops.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
I don't think that's true, but all coppers are bastards.
There you go.
Yeah. And he goes, all right, I need to go to a separate room because I've got information.
Now, this is where it takes a turn.
I didn't get any of this.
This takes a great turn.
It's just him gibbering all the way through it. I couldn't hear any of this.
I want a helicopter, and I want a cheese platter, and I want
them little things that go meat, 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 meat. Yeah, big box full of them. The complete works of William Shakespeare.
Is he going on Desert Island Disc?
No, it's Alexei Sale, isn't it? The young one.
Oh, yeah.
When he's Brian Damage. Yeah. A complete set of steak knives.
We've missed a bit with the chief. So in between this, the chief of police comes in and says that 43 people saw a leathery ball bag kidnap a man. And then
a sarcastic man.
Shepard says, oh, that son of a bitch is getting bold.
It's all right when he was just stealing people randomly, but when he's been spotted.
But he says that birds are 6 times stronger than man, which I don't understand.
Yeah, I looked that up. It's not true.
It's like that bit in The Simpsons where that ant resists Mr. Burns and like shoves him off. They can eat up to 7 times their weight, which is why this big bastard needs to eat so many people.
If he ate all the bodies that are just the heads, he'd be doing fine.
Well, yeah. I don't know how much it is in heads. So Shepard say, this is the same case as the ritual murders. The murders are bringing it back from centuries of sleep. Prayed back into existence.
Which I quite like. That was quite Terry Pratchett. That was quite fun.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then we get this bizarre scene with Jimmy demanding all this stuff. I know where this is. I want a full pardon. I want $1 million in cash. I don't want to pay tax on it.
Free. Yeah, I've never paid tax. And I was like, oh, don't admit to that.
Yeah, that is a crime.
Because he asked for immunity and immunity for all future crimes that he might be implicated in, which I thought was a good one. It's like, I wish for a million wishes, isn't it?
It's a good strategy. It's a solid strategy. And Shepard's like, you're not having that. And the DA is like, oh, well, we might have to because, like, people have seen the ball bag now. Like,
and also
we can't keep it undercover.
Stop drawing a shitty picture of a bird for no reason.
Stop drawing logos for your prog rock band.
I actually wrote, is he drawing Trogdor the Burninator?
But they're like, okay, we're gonna have to speak to like the mayor or somebody higher up. and get this approved.
And there's no banks open. Well, open one, you're cops.
Open one. Yeah. And I was like...
And I loved, I want a Nixon-like pardon.
Yeah.
All I could think was, oh, that winged serpent had powerful friends. You'll pay.
I'm meeting you halfway. But also, second president in second film. So
Yeah.
keep that going.
Yeah.
President watch. Jimmy and Shepard go out for coffee.
Yeah, now then, because I thought, oh, it'll take about 30 minutes to rustle up $1 million from the bear or something. So he says, oh, come on, then I'll take you for a coffee. And I thought, oh, he's not going to get this million, is he? Something's going to happen.
Shepard was going to talk the information out of him using his superior cop skills.
When they go to the Starbucks, single butts, then something's going to happen. No, they just go for a nice coffee.
There's a good bit.
His jazz singing.
It was weird here for me because I'm sure at this point he says, do you remember when you saw me in here the first time? Are they in the scat jazz bar? Having coffee because he mentions. You remember I was in here the first time and I was like, hang on a second, is this some back room of the scat jazzy bar place? What is going on?
Booze up front and then illegal coffee bar in the back.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah,
with Mrs. Overall serving coffee as well.
and then Shisha Den in the separate themed room to the side. Karaoke, yeah.
Opium Den. But there is a good bit where they're talking and he says something like quite, and then the coffee lady just appears and goes, okay, and walks off. That was quite fun. But then they do it again at the end. And I'm like, But yeah, he's trying to get this information out of him.
She takes the bill from him and Quinn says, oh, we'll have 2 coffees and I will pay the bill because he's rich now. And I thought, is paying for 2 coffees a new experience for you?
I'd say it's about, £3? Like, they're not fancy coffees, are they?
Oh, man, it's New York, is it? So
in 1982, though.
Yeah. Well,
so
anyway.
It was before the age of frappuccinos and that, weren't it?
And he's about to ask for some avocado toast, but it's not been invented yet.
No. You just get a rat on a stick.
Avocados haven't been invented.
Rat burger.
Just
no, that's right. He doesn't want to see any more eggs.
That's what they should have done, was just chase him round with an egg until they got the information out of him. It's like cruel and unusual torture.
Oh, go away.
Yeah, like Shepard's talking to him, nearly gets this information about where it is and stuff.
Yeah, because he says it's a building that you'll recognise. So that narrows it down to a handful, doesn't it? Big building in Manhattan that we know. Empire State, go to Chrysler next. Done.
But then, for some reason, a TV crew appear. And are they after Jimmy or are they after Shepard? Because I didn't understand what they were doing there.
Jazz guy thinks that it's about him because he says that, get Rupert Murdoch, get him round here with his arm around me.
You don't want that, mate.
And then, one of my favourite bits of this is Shepard says, you're Eisenhower, this is D-Day, what do we do? Right, I want helicopters carrying a big circus tent.
Again, this bit, I was like, the fuck are we in a different film now? What? And he's like, no, put it over the top of the building. And then, go in and just shoot it.
That's it. The one you called Q the Winged Serpent is no longer here. Huh? What? No, he's gone to his grandma's while we spray for potato bugs.
Yes, I was thinking that. Because then I was like, can you spray an entire Empire State Building? Or would you just have to do it layer by layer, do you reckon?
Yeah. Each section.
But yeah, and so they go, oh, okay, we can do that, I guess. Then they went, oh, we haven't got the budget for that, have we? We've used all the helicopter money on filming that balloon before. So this TV crew appear, and then they usher them out, and then it's D-Day, isn't it? It's the day of the big operations. Oh no, he gets his million as well, doesn't he? He gives it him in a briefcase.
And meanwhile, the commissioner says to Shepard, it's easier for me to think of killing a bird than a god. Stop going on about it being a god. And then Shepard rips up the report angrily, and it has no bearing on anything.
Are you a god?
No. God.
I reckon this thing would struggle against a Marshmallow Man.
Yeah, definitely.
Marshmallow Men.
It takes a fucking cane in a bullet.
It does take an absolute raft of bullets, doesn't it?
So they get into they go, right, it's in the Chrysler building. That plaque there in memory of RoofCop, don't worry about that. And for some reason, Shepard as a cop has got a fucking Tech 9.
Guess what he wants? Yeah, he probably seized it from the evidence locker.
I was like, what cops are allowed to use automatic? Anyway, and they get up there, and Jimmy's like, I've got this fucking pistol still. Why have you not put the tent on the roof? And he went, oh, we couldn't be arsed. They literally just go, we didn't want to. And he's like, well,
this operation's ruined now. I don't have my big circus tent.
It's the ballet, isn't it? Just the bear in the little cat.
The ballet.
And so they go, right, come on, everyone, up the ladders. And Shepherd goes up and he shoots fuck out of that egg, doesn't he?
Yeah, and this made me sad.
He also says, look at that omelette. It's not an omelette, it's an egg, mate.
Fry up 500 pounds of bacon.
Fry up 500 pounds of bacon. That would make Jimmy happy, but not egg. I do enjoy a burger in the bun. Yeah, he shoots the fuck out of it. And then like a little baby Quetzalcoatl comes out and he just leathers the fuck out of that as well. Like,
Jazz Guy says that, yeah, the bird got away because they didn't seal it. The infant bird comes back to life because that happens a lot in this. Things go, sudden. He gets shot again.
I've just remembered a bit. Or is it after this where Jimmy gets someone holding a knife to his throat?
Later.
Is that at the end? Because that made me laugh so much.
That's the other bit, yeah. I know. Was that supposed to be comedy? I don't know. No, there's another choice bit of dialogue. Shepherd and Jazz Guy are in the foyer of the Chrysler building, and Shepherd says, oh, well, we got the egg, but not the bird, so you don't get your money. And Jazz Guy's like, well, take this, and he gets the change from the coffee earlier. He's like, take this and stick it up your brain, your small old brain.
It was good. I enjoyed that because that was improvised as fuck, wasn't it? He was like, can I say arse? No, we've already had boobies. We're not allowed an arse. Sorry. Oh, okay, I'm not happy about it. Yeah, but then they go back up to the top. The fucking thing's flapping around the place. Everyone starts taking shots at it. There's a mime.
There's a mime for some reason.
There's a mime policeman.
I don't know why he was there, but when they go and see him, he's like, hey, look, we need all the cops we can get. Sorry, you're going to have to come off fucking entertainment duty at the university. And then he picks up his bag. He says, how did you get on? Not so well. Looks like the bird's got people scared. I mean, what? Was he even taking people's money as well? What?
Because they found the ritualist somehow. And they're after him.
Oh,
while there's people on the roof shooting at the big thing.
I thought the ritualist was the guy from the museum.
He unveiled his mask, and I was like, "Oh, it's that guy from the clown thing." The names, it's just
right.
It's everybody and nobody, isn't it? Like, do I recognize this person? I put him down at first. It looked like Johnny Cash, and then no, it's a sweaty Javier Bardem. That's who he is.
yeah, I'll give you that. But yeah, he was going to sacrifice someone. They busted on it because Mime Police has been tailing him. Which, if you're going to blend in, a fucking mime is not how to do it, is it? Like, what's that guy walking against the wind over there? What's that about? Like, he's trapped in a box of his own mind.
He's not going to chase us. That's fine.
He will, but then whenever we turn around, he'll be like, doing something. It's fucking, I hate mimes.
Quick, run into the wind, he'll never get us.
Quick, pull this rope, we'll never get close. All great physical comedy, if you could see this, by the way.
Yeah.
I did 10 years at mime school. I've never spoke about it because you're not allowed. Yeah, so they stop that, and then they go, all right, the Quetzalcoatl thing's going to come back to that one other location we've got. So let's all go up there. Everyone get a gun. Shaft, you and Mime Cop go on the roof.
There's another bit where they look at a roof and they say, oh, there's a fake Statue of Liberty up there. And he says, oh, yes, it's the original cast of the Statue of Liberty that was used in the construction. There's no need for it. It doesn't feature anywhere.
Listen.
What's it doing in the film?
We've got a tiny Statue of Liberty and we're using it, okay?
And not only was the Statue of Liberty a gift from France, but also the tiny Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. I mean, that seems unnecessary.
2 gifts.
And
one big, one small.
Powell gets assaulted by a kite for no reason in front of a mime. And I'm like, I've lost this completely.
I think Distracted by Kites is a really good name for an American middle-of-the-road AMR band.
Oh, yeah. Guided by Voices.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, very much so. And then a plasticine version of him just gets picked up and then dropped from a great height as the bird swoops in.
I love that, like, because he was like, whoa, in this big rubber claw. Yeah. And then it was just like, Not even going to eat you, mate. I'm just going to dash you on the ground.
My favourite character, and I've missed this, I think, because I was waiting for Distracted by Kites, because it was one of my favourite lines, was the cop that shoots the sacrifice man. Looks like how I think the Beastie Boys dressed for that Sabotage video.
Yes!
With the fake moustache and the wig.
He's beautiful, and he's got like reflector light glasses on. And,
that's right, yeah. And I was
beautiful.
kind of like, oh man, that
guy.
I want to know
dressed for the part.
I want to know more about his home life of him sliding across the bonnets of cars, planting crack cocaine on people, stuff like that.
Putting cigarettes out in Grass's eyes.
Nonce's eyes. But yeah, he looks like, I was like, oh, if it was 1977, like you'd be the coolest dude, but it's 82. Move on, Malcolm. Move on. No, disco's coming back.
There's a quick scene just before the Beast circles back to all the cops, and there's a big battle at the top of the Chrysler building where it's very, very brief, but Jazz Guy is mad at the waitress because she didn't believe in his dreams, or I don't know, throws a chair at her, and then she says, "Oh, it's the last time you throw a chair at me, you're out." And he's like, "Oh, well,
you takes a walk," she says. Yeah, and I was like, okay, but yeah, fair play to her, Joan.
I thought at this point he's like, "Oh well, my life doesn't matter anymore. I've lost everything, my millions, my missus. I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory." Nope, that doesn't.
Still a coward. Still a coward. Everyone's on the roof shooting this fucking thing. Nondescript police officers are getting murked left, right, and centre.
Yeah. They turn into plasticine and they die.
Yeah, but
the
I don't
good
mind
thing
that.
about it. So in our podcast on Empire of the Dark, people turn to plasticine and get eaten. But this was actually more ambitious in that the plasticine men were like writhing and going, "No!" Which in many ways was a bad move.
Oh, this was
I enjoyed it.
2 men filmed all the stop motion in one weekend, pissed on tequila.
One who went on to do Lord of the Rings stuff. Genuinely.
Oh, okay. I mean,
not with plasticine. It was advanced a long way.
Clearly had not much budget, like, so. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind shit like. I can suspend.
I mean, if you've got to use it, then you use it sparingly. It's like Terminator 1, where he's a model, but they don't. It's in a mirror and it's very brief, so you don't linger on it. And me, as a 5-year-old, thought it was real, so scared the shit out of me that film.
No, but this, if I've paid someone to make me a clay flying winged. I'm putting
That's
it in every
me as a 5-year-old
shot.
playing with fucking plasticine.
Every shot it's in there. That canteen, Quetzalcoatl in the background. The mime school, mime face Quetzalcoatl doing this. Yeah,
I thought it was brilliantly Robot Chicken, the whole thing, and I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah. I did enjoy it.
But it slams into the roof, and they're all pew 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 with it. All the guns make different noises. Some of them make laser noises.
They make a lot of World War II ricochet noises.
Yeah, we almost get a Wilhelm scream, but we don't. There's one that's very close to it, but not close enough.
Do you know how expensive a Wilhelm scream is?
20 quid down the docks. But and then they shoot this thing and it sort of flies off and they keep shooting it and then it crashes into a building.
Into an Aztec pyramid style building.
Yeah, like the fucking Chewits monster. And everyone sees it and goes, "Oh, a monster." Like, they're not really bothered, are they? It's like another day in New York. It's like, I'm thankful I've not been stabbed on a fire escape.
I've not been eaten by a chud.
And then it just sort of dies. And then, then we get this very weird ending that I didn't understand.
What, with Jazz Guy in his bedsit?
Jazz Guy and Shepard, have a, you keep your nose clean. And Jimmy's like, "Fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want, cop. You can't tell me." And then Shepard goes, "Oh, well, another day," or something, and then takes the do not disturb sign off and puts on another door for a laugh.
Oh, yeah, because Javier Bardem turns up with a knife, doesn't he? And he goes to kill him and he shoots him. And then he comes back to get him again and he shoots him again.
Yeah, sorry. Sweaty Javier Bardem gets Jimmy, and he's going to slit his throat. And then Shepard shoots him. And then as he's on the bed dying, Shepard just comes over and just goes, bang, 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 and shoots him 5 more times.
And then throws a pillow on him.
Yeah, genuinely. That's his MO. But yeah, I don't understand why he changed the do not disturb signs just for a prank.
Yeah.
Someone's room's not getting fresh sheets today.
Yep.
And then it cuts to, is it under the stairs? Is it where Jimmy slept? It cuts to another egg. It cuts to another egg. It's at the end of Godzilla or the Matthew Broderick one. And then it opens up and goes, "Ah!" and it zooms in, and then it ends. And I was like, that was a film.
And we're still waiting for the follow-up film, which is disappointing. Because if this were today, we'd have had a follow-up. We'd have had 20 follow-ups to this.
It'd be called
the Flippered Serpent.
Yeah.
Well, I found out a fun thing by watching The Chase today. Quetzalcoatl, the god, the Aztec god, was kicked out of Aztec heaven for giving chocolate to humans.
There's a lot of stories. There's one about him abusing a tortoise shell.
Okay, well, I'm trying to keep it light. Is that where the Ninja Turtles came from? The secret of that ooze.
I don't know, but he woke up remorseful, and that's why we've now got sugar. It's weird. Bit weird but wonderful, like folk tales.
Tell you when I went to the chocolate museum in Bruges, and they had all the history of like cocoa in the Aztec Empire, but it was all done with little Playmobil people in little glass boxes.
What?
It was tremendous, yeah. And the chip museum was fun as well. The history of the chip fork was a particular highlight.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm in.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture. It's great.
I love museums like that.
It had a musical loop of a Belgian couple who made music using things you only find in a chip shop. So they had like a washboard made of a chip basket and stuff. It was shite, but it was brilliant because like it was Eurovision on a plate. It was tremendous. Yeah. That was 1982's Q brackets, comma, the winged serpent, close brackets. Your scores.
I'm going to go with 2 silver Neil diamonds. It's much better fare than we've had in a while, actually. It's definitely silver territory.
Yeah, Mark?
2 bronze roof cops.
Ooh, low.
Yeah, disturbingly low. I'm going to go 3 silver mime police badges. They can't read you your rights. I kind of enjoyed it. It was dumb and it didn't make any sense, and it
went by quickly for me.
There was no story. Yeah. It just felt like it was better than fucking Monster Mash, which is a low bar to set, isn't it? Really. Right.
Oh, that's music that you could have over some kind of Aztec chase.
Yeah.
That was 1982's Q, also known as the Winged Serpent, also known in French as Terror over New York, or in Spanish as Operación Serpiente, or in Thailand, Giant Damned Bird.
Yes!
That kind of undersells it a little bit, doesn't it? That sounds like there's a guy who's just like, it keeps shitting on his car and like eating his carrots and stuff. Like, oh, you birds!
That was 1982 when we had E.T. as top of the charts at the box office. Rocky 3, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, Annie. So it had a 1.1 million budget, or 3.3 million today, and that's enough for 5,500 Neil Diamond signed action figurines. Get them while they're up. I've also looked up, it's worth 6 months of the Chrysler building for like a private floor, rented office space. That's 3.3 million would not even get you a year for your office workers.
Wow.
And you'd have to get the elevator every day. It'd take fucking ages.
And you've got to avoid the pervert window cleaner as well. That's the day-to-day. Can't put any women near the windows. You'd be grabbing at them.
And you've got to pay extra for RoofCop.
I don't even bother going up for a smoke on the roof.
RoofCop Memorial
with his gun.
Now, that's a charity organisation, RoofCop now.
Quetzalcoatl means feathered serpent. It wasn't feathery in this, though, was it? Comes from the Aztec mythology or religion. Also, some followers of the Church of Latter-day Saints movement believe that Quetzalcoatl was historically Jesus.
What?
Yeah, but they also believe in the golden plates, so you know.
Yeah, they managed to find something that was weirder than the golden plates, didn't they? It's not a mainstream thing. It's just a splinter group of
an offshoot of the Mormons. Is like,
it wasn't edgy enough for them.
Fucking Mexican gods. Let's have some of them as well. If we're gonna make up shit, let's make up mad shit. Yeah.
You know how Jesus was leathery and latex. The Winged Serpent was shot on location in around New York City's Chrysler building.
You know, when we make our band Bothered by Kites, can I change my name to Leathery Jesus, please?
The owners of the Chrysler Building initially refused to secure the building for the movie's production, quite rightly. But they relented offer. They were offered a bribe of about 18 grand, which is not enough for roof space. But it was going through difficult times in the 80s. It did actually change owners a lot, and I think they was just struggling. So this film swooped in at the right moment.
Like a Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, like that. Pre-production for the movie lasted just 1 week.
What?
Wow.
The script was created in 6 days, and that feels too long for what that was.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of stage directions in the script?
Larry
Lady
Cohen.
rubs breast.
Yeah, because they lingered on that scene, didn't they?
Yeah.
Larry Cohen wrote and directed it. According to the We Are Cult blog, Cohen fell out with the producers on another film, I, the Jury, which was already undergoing financial difficulties, probably from investing in the Chrysler Building. And having been banned from the set, he was ordered to leave his hotel. He pulled an old script from the drawer and immediately began production with no money. He called in favours. Most of the film was shot on the fly, with a lot of the shooting being done out on the streets, and as it feels like, with no permits and no planning.
Yeah.
Because you said that, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly what
That
happened.
running through Chinatown bit felt like they would just literally jog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll follow you in a car. Yeah.
It'll look good.
Go, Jimmy. We'll give you more coke when we get back. Okay.
Another origin story of this film goes that so Larry Cohen once looked up at the Chrysler Building and said, that'd be the coolest place to have a nest.
Jesus Christ, Larry Cohen.
Sure.
Well, we've all had thoughts like that, I suppose. They
No.
couldn't fit the giant egg and nest into the Chrysler Building. So
What?
they they shot these scenes in an old abandoned police building. That's what the roof scene was.
All right. Okay.
When they
Right,
were finished shooting, the crew removed everything apart from the nest. Close to a year later, there was an article in the front page of the New York Times detailing a flurry of activity from anthropologists flying into the town to examine a mysterious nest in the old abandoned police building.
Fuck off.
How thick are people?
They should have just left the giant egg.
But they're
That would have been better.
experts, so surely. Oh.
I can't believe that.
It depends. Doesn't
Maybe
it?
there's some kind of giant pigeon, see?
It doesn't take much for the New York
Anthropologists
press
to
will
get
stoop down
excited,
to that
yeah.
for Sunday morning.
Yeah.
My films are all about mischief and craziness, he once said. This
He's
is
right.
a testament to that. Powell, Richard Roundtree, John Shaft from Shaft.
Shut your
Shepherd was David Caradine. Served in the army with Larry Cohen. That's where he knew him from. He's also
He
Bill from
did call
Kilburn.
in favours, didn't he?
Really did. He was also in
Wow.
Dragon Cop 1991.
Half cop, half dragon.
There's so
bastard.
many David Caradine films. We're not doing another one.
I've already done my wanking joke.
Yeah. So on to Jazz Guy.
The
Jazz
hero
Guy
of the piece.
was Michael Moriarty. He is a semi-professional jazz pianist and singer, as well as a classical composer. Oh,
Is
look
that
at your fucking faces.
The same
It's
way
true.
that I'm a semi-professional sex machine.
Well,
I.e.
it says
not
that
at all.
He's recorded 3... Oh, to me you are.
Shut up. He's recorded albums, right? If they're
He's
not on
recorded
Spotify-
3 jazz albums. I urge you to go and look them up. The
Oh,
first one hasn't really been released. He recorded it, but it's never been properly released. It's probably a
it's too
bootleg,
good. Yeah.
bootleg jazz. He regularly performed live in both New York City and Vancouver with the jazz trio and quintet. In a 1990 concert review, the New York Times reviewer Stephen Holden called Moriarty a jazz pianist of considerable skill, an oddball singer with more than one vocal personality, and a writer of eccentric, jivey jazz songs.
Jivey jazz songs.
I mean, I could get that job as a music reviewer.
Yeah,
Jivey jazz songs. That's what he
Jivey
does.
jazz.
Shabba-dabba.
No, I'm going to have to find this now and listen to it, because if it's as good as the song that made the dog cry, or whatever it was called.
According to Larry Cohen, Michael Moriarty's character Jimmy Quinn was not a failed piano player in the hastily written script, but then Cohen discovered that Moriarty wrote and played music, so he used it, and it is shite. It's the worst scene. isn't it?
This'll pad out 10 minutes.
Pretty much, because it doesn't link into anything. Later on, he says, "Oh, I'm going to go off to be a jazz musician now." In the 1990s, he attempted to enter Canadian politics by forming his own political party.
Oh, if it wasn't called the Bebop Badoowa Society.
He's also Galileo in Galileo on the Shoulders of Giants, 1997.
Figure
He's Hitler in Hitler Meets Christ, 2007.
What? Sorry,
Okay.
what? What's happened?
I think he wrote that as well.
2 pages of the book got stuck together. We've skipped a bit. What the fuck's just happened?
And he's also, and you might want to take note of this for the regular time podcast, he's in Santa Baby 2006, not as the baby. Mary Class.
As Hitler.
Mary Class is a highly successful
Freaking
business
bronies.
executive who just happens to be the daughter of Santa Claus. But when her father falls ill, Mary returns to the North Pole and the life she's left behind to take over for her dad and implement... That doesn't make sense. Take over from her dad and implement her innovative ideas for running Christmas. It's not Hallmark, but it's ABC
It
Family.
sounds shite, yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like that cartoon one where Arthur Christmas.
Arthur
is what that
Christmas.
sounds like.
Yeah.
It's Christmas business, isn't it? It's a Christmas business.
Yeah, we did
Christmas
one last
escrow.
year that was a similar one where she went to college and was followed around by a sexy elf. Yeah, I can't
And the
remember.
sexy elf in this is played by Michael Moriarty.
He's the jazz elf. That's what he's known as. That's his nickname, innit?
And that is your leathery facts.
Thanks. Hate it.
Is the jazz elf? Surely the jazz elf would be the little elf out of the original Santa Claus the movie. Dudley Moore is a little pianist. True or false? Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy Beadle's got a tiny penis. But on the other hand, it's massive. Hey,
The elves are the best.
Fucking hell, they don't get older than that. Review me do. Overwhelming love for this film. If you let yourself in, you know what you're going to get. So a 10 out of 10 by Mr. Mirage, number 3.
Ooh.
The third of the Mr. Mirage clan. Budget? We don't need no stinking budget. It turns out they had a fucking hefty budget, mate. All-time horror flicks knew that the monster had to be hidden. The zipper up the back of the necks don't show us often that way. And besides, the movie was more about the monster, right? Fucking word salad, this, isn't it? There are no less than 3 separate storylines in this Larry Cohen Blue Plate special. Any one of them would be enough for half a dozen current wannabe filmmakers, but Cohen weaves them all together, makes his point, and delivers an amusing little cheesy entertainment, spelt with a Z.
Oh.
If only more current horror films were as entertaining as this. Watching Michael Moriarty and David Caradine is fun too.
I mean, he weaves them together in the same way that if you've got some headphones in your pocket, they weave themselves into a knot.
If you just got 3 bits of string and span them round, technically it is weaving. But yeah. And a 2 out of 10 by CC the Movie Man. 124, not 123, 124. Disappointing, bias ruined film. Boy, this started off promising with a campy look to it, with a combination of 1950s corny science fiction look with 1980s gore and language. I thought there was bits of this, like especially Jimmy. He spoke like a villain. Like there was lots of like oldie world lingo in there that didn't fit in 1982. But anyway, however, the movie gets more and more profane as it goes along, and the last third gets ridiculously blasphemous, which may not bother most viewers, but it did me, CC the Movie Man. All the characters become unlikable, and the film lost its appeal to me because of that and its credence to its gods theories, complete with an anti-Christian slur. All this mumbo-jumbo theology was a quick turn-off and explains why national critics liked this film so much. What?
Oh, mainstream media.
Yeah.
That's
In
right.
summary,
You tell them CC the Movie Man 124.
in summary, the film industry once again displays its anti-biblical bigotry.
What?
The only way that review could be improved upon if it turned out that he was a Quetzalcoatl believer right at the end, and he's like, it's profane and blasphemous against him. Cute.
If he was one of those Mormons that's like, go Quetzalcoatl on his shirt. But yeah, I was just like, how is it blasphemous? Like,
I don't really look at movies from that lens anyway, where you're going to...
No,
if you're
I'm
watching Q the Winged Serpent and someone says, oh, Jesus Christ, there's a big leathery ball bag up there. Who cares? No. At this point, nothing in the Bible about it, though.
I just think he's very... Well, he's 1980s gore and language. He was fine with that, but as soon as Jesus and stuff starts getting mentioned, the red hat comes on then. Yeah.
Thou shalt not tap an egg.
That's one of the lesser known commandments. That's in the second 10 commandments, isn't it? Like,
what's the slur that he's upset about?
Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, someone say like God botherer or something like that.
No, I think it's just whether they're having a go at Jesus. I think when he's talking about God's made in man's image or man's made in
Really
God's
wound
image.
him up the wrong way, isn't it?
I mean, he paid more attention to it than we did. One man did the work of 3 people.
Isn't that always the way, though?
He had the subtitles on YouTube, didn't he? That's what I should have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I mean, an absolute maniac of a man. CC the movie man. Come and see him.
Godspeed you.
Come and see him if you can. And that was 1982's Q, The Winged Serpent. Gentlemen, your favourite lines from the film?
Go on.
Oh, all right.
Shall I go first? I'll go first then. All right. I was being polite. If someone ate that sandwich, I'm going to shove thermoses up your asses one at a time.
Go away, evil dream. Also, at the end, Jimmy says, I'm not afraid anymore. I don't know why. Like, he never said he was.
Oh, take this and stick it up your brain. Your small old brain.
All my life I've been nobody. Now I can be somebody. A big man for one lousy minute.
If they had done what I said and put the canvas on the top. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.
If you like what we do, please consider giving a small donation to Manchester's Wood Street Mission. We know times are incredibly difficult for everyone out there, but anything that you can spare goes a long way towards helping some of Manchester's poorest at Christmas. There'll be links in the show notes. If you can donate, that's fine. You're under no obligation to. This will still be free. We just wanted to use what little tiny reach we had to try and make Christmas better for everyone.